The last house, on Tower Road. The first time I saw the house, I was sure it wasn't supposed to be there. Tower Road is a dead stretch of cracked pavement that cuts behind the old water treatment plant and ends at a locked gate. No streetlights, no sidewalks. Just trees, weeds, and the kind of quiet that makes your ears ring. I've driven it 100 times. There has never been a house. But that night, at a slow crawl in my truck, my headlights washed over a mailbox that read, "Last house. No numbers. No name. Just last house," painted in black letters that looked too neat to be graffiti. I slowed down even more. Behind the mailbox, a gravel driveway disappeared into the trees, and at the end of it there was a porch light glowing like a single yellow eye. A house, not a ruined shack, not an abandoned trailer. A real house with white siding and dark windows and a porch swing that moved slightly even though there was no wind. I would have kept driving if it wasn't for the sign nailed to the mailbox post. It was cardboard, weathered and stained, like it had been there for years. It said, "If you hear your name, don't answer." I stared at it long enough to feel stupid. Then I laughed once under my breath because it sounded like something you'd see in a creepy story online. And then my radio cut out. Not static, not music fading. It just stopped. The screen went black. The dashboard lights dimmed like someone had turned a knob. My truck kept running, but the whole cab suddenly felt colder, like I'd cracked a window. I looked at my passenger seat. There was nothing there. Still, I had the overwhelming feeling I wasn't alone. That's when I heard it. A voice outside, clear as day, right beyond my driver's side window. "Hey." I jerked my head toward the sound. There was no one standing by the road, no one in the ditch, no one at the edge of the trees, just darkness. Then the voice said my name, perfectly, like someone who knew me, like someone close. I felt my mouth open out of reflex. Then I remembered the sign. "If you hear your name, don't answer." I snapped my lips shut so fast my teeth clicked. The air in the cab changed. Heavy, pressing down, like something was waiting for me to reply and didn't like being denied. My eyes flicked back to the house. The porch light had gone out. Now the windows looked even darker, and on the porch something moved, not a person stepping forward. Something lower, small, a shape shifting across the boards like it was crawling. My stomach tightened. I threw my truck into drive and hit the gas. The tires spun on gravel and I lurched forward, passing the mailbox in the driveway. As soon as I did, the radio clicked back on. Music returned at full volume like nothing happened. The dashboard lights brightened. The cab warmed. I glanced in my rearview mirror. The porch light was back on. The porch was empty. The house looked normal again. Too normal. Like it was pretending. I told myself it was just fatigue. It was late. I'd been working all day. My brain was making patterns out of shadows. Still, I took the long way home that night. I didn't drive Tower Road again for almost a month. Then my buddy Shane called me. He sounded off, not drunk, not high, just shaken. "You ever drive Tower Road late?" he asked. My grip tightened on my phone. "Why?" Shane hesitated. "Because there's a house back there, and it's not right." I didn't answer. He took that as confirmation. "I saw it," he whispered. "There's a mailbox. It says, 'Last House.' Like it's telling you something." I swallowed. "Did you stop?" "No," Shane said quickly. "I saw the sign that says not to answer if you hear your name." My chest went cold. Shane exhaled hard. "But I heard it anyway," he said. "I heard my name." "And?" I asked. Shane went quiet for a second, and I heard the faint sound of his breath shaking. "I didn't answer," he said, "but when I got home, my phone rang." "What did it say?" I asked. Shane's voice dropped. "It was my own number," he whispered. I felt my skin prickle. "That's not possible," I said. "I know," Shane said, but it was my number, my name, everything, like I was calling myself." "What happened when you answered?" I asked, even though I already knew I shouldn't ask that. Shane didn't speak for a long moment. Then he said, "I didn't." A pause. "It left a voicemail," he added. "What did it say?" I asked. Shane sounded like he was trying not to cry. "It said my name," he whispered, "over and over, like it was practicing." That night, I didn't sleep, because I realized something I hadn't wanted to admit the first time. That voice by the road didn't sound like a stranger. It sounded like someone who had spent a long time listening. The next day I drove to Shane's house. He looked terrible, eyes red, face pale. He showed me his call log. One missed call, from his own number, no voicemail icon. But when he hit play, the phone speaker crackled and a sound came through that made my stomach drop. At first it was just silence, then a soft, wet breath, then Shane's name whispered. Not in Shane's voice, in a voice that was trying to be Shane's, like someone wearing it wrong. Shane threw his phone across the room. We stared at it on the carpet like it might crawl. "I'm not crazy," Shane said. "I know," I told him. And that's when I made the worst decision of my life. I said, "Let's go back." Shane's eyes widened. "No. We need to see if it's real," I said, even though I already knew it was. Shane shook his head hard. No, man. That thing remembers." I didn't listen. We went at dusk. Not midnight, not late enough for everything to feel like a dream. Still, Tower Road looked wrong the moment we turned onto it. The trees were too close, the shadows too deep. The sky above was clear, but the road ahead seemed darker, like a stain. We drove slow. We passed the water plant. We passed the last flicker of civilization. And then my headlights hit the mailbox. "Last House." Same black letters, same sign nailed to the post. "If you hear your name, don't answer." Shane's breathing quickened. My radio cut out. Then the porch light came on and the house was there. No doubt. A clean, simple house in the middle of nowhere, like someone had plucked it out of a neighborhood and dropped it into the woods. The porch swing moved. Shane whispered, "Keep driving." I should have, but I stopped. The truck rolled to a halt right beside the driveway. The engine idled. The world held its breath. Then we heard it, not from outside, from inside the truck. A voice, low and close, like it was sitting in the back seat. "Shane," it said. Shane went rigid. I didn't move. I didn't even blink. The voice continued, patient. "Shane," it repeated softer. "Come here." Shane's mouth opened. I grabbed his arm hard and hissed, "Don't!" Shane's eyes were wide. Tears had gathered there. "It sounds like my mom," he whispered. I felt my stomach twist. Shane's mom had died 2 years ago. The voice in the back seat breathed slowly, almost lovingly. "Shane," it said again, "you can answer me." Shane's lips trembled. I tightened my grip on his arm. "Don't," I whispered. The voice stopped. For a moment there was silence so complete it felt like pressure in my ears. Then the porch light went out. The truck interior went cold, like the heat had been sucked away. And behind us, something shifted. I glanced in the rearview mirror. In the reflection of the back window, something sat in the center of the back seat. Not a person, not a shadow. A shape that looked like it was folded wrong, like limbs tucked into impossible angles. Its face wasn't clear, but I saw one thing that made my blood run cold. Its mouth was stretched into a smile that didn't belong on anything living. I slammed the truck into drive and floored it. The truck lurched forward, gravel spraying. Shane screamed. The radio exploded with static, and over the static, a voice, many voices, said our names at once, not yelling, whispering, like prayer, like hunger. We sped past the mailbox. The moment we crossed that point, the static died. The radio returned, heat returned, the truck felt normal. But Shane didn't. He was shaking, staring straight ahead. I didn't answer, he whispered. "I know," I said, breath ragged. Shane swallowed hard. "But it heard me think it," he whispered. "What?" I asked. His eyes turned to me, terrified. "I thought my mom's name," he said. "I didn't say it. I just thought it." His voice broke, and it said it back. A chill crawled up my spine. We didn't speak the rest of the drive. I dropped Shane off and went home. I locked every door. I covered my windows. I left the lights on. And still, when night came, I kept thinking about the thing in the back seat. How it felt like it had been waiting for us to slip up. How it felt like the house was just a doorway. A lure. Around 1 a.m., my phone buzzed. I stared at the screen. Incoming call. No number. No name. Just blank. My heart hammered. I didn't answer. It rang 3 times and stopped. Then immediately, my phone buzzed again. Same blank call. I didn't answer. It stopped. Buzzed again. Again. I turned the phone off. A second later, I heard it, a faint ringing sound coming from inside my walls, like an old landline buried in the drywall. I sat frozen on my bed. The ringing moved. It shifted from the bedroom wall to the hallway, then the living room, like something walking through my house carrying the sound. Then I heard a voice, not from the phone, from my closet, soft, close. It said my name. I clamped a hand over my mouth. My throat burned with the effort not to respond. The closet door creaked, just a little, like someone on the other side had pressed a finger against it. The voice spoke again, gentle and coaxing. "It's okay," it whispered. "You can answer." I stared at the closet. The crack under the door was dark, no light. But I swear I saw a shadow move behind it, like something shifting its weight. The voice sighed. It sounded like relief, like it knew I was listening. And then it said something that made my blood turn to ice. "Come to the last house." I didn't sleep. In the morning I called Shane. He didn't answer. I texted him. No response. I drove to his place. His car was in the driveway. His front door was unlocked. I pushed it open. The house was silent. Too silent. On the kitchen counter, Shane's phone sat face up. The screen was cracked. The call log was open. There were dozens of missed calls, all from his own number. And written across the screen in the Notes app in shaky typing, like someone's hands were trembling, were the same words repeated over and over. "It learned me. It learned me. It learned me." I shouted his name. No answer. I checked the bedrooms. Empty. The bathroom. Empty. Then I saw the back door. Wide open. Cold air drifting in. And in the dirt outside, leading away from the house, were footprints. Bare footprints. Not Shane's. Too small. Too narrow, like a child's, like something pretending. They led to the road, and on the road, stamped into the dust like someone had dragged a heavy object, were tire tracks. Tracks that curved toward Tower Road, toward the last house. I called the police. They searched. They asked questions. They took notes. They didn't find Shane. They didn't find evidence. Because how do you explain a house that shouldn't exist? How do you explain a voice that calls from nowhere and waits for you to answer? They told me Shane probably left town. They told me he was an adult and could disappear if he wanted. They told me I should stop spooking myself with urban legends. I stopped arguing because I knew. The last house didn't take Shane with hands. It took him with his voice. It took him by learning him. And once it learns you, it doesn't need you to answer out loud. It just needs you to listen. That's the trick. That's the trap. A week later, I drove past Tower Road in the daylight just to prove to myself it was gone. The gate at the end was still locked. The pavement was still cracked. There was no mailbox, no driveway, no house. But on the shoulder, half hidden in weeds, was a piece of cardboard nailed to a broken post. It looked new, not weathered. Not stained, just fresh brown cardboard with clean black letters. It said, "It's not the house. It's the answer." I stood there for a long time, staring, and in the silence of the trees I thought I heard a porch swing creak. Then I heard something else, my name, not spoken, not whispered, just shaped in the air, like the woods were holding it, waiting for me to say it back. I got in my truck and drove home. I don't drive Tower Road anymore. I don't pick up unknown calls. I don't answer when someone calls my name from another room unless I can see them. And if I'm alone and I hear my name anyway, I keep my mouth shut, because somewhere out there, in a stretch of trees behind a locked gate, there's a house that isn't always a house, and something inside it is learning voices, collecting them, practicing them, waiting for the moment you slip even once, waiting for you to do the simplest thing in the world, to answer.